Let's now take you through the front pages of Nigerian newspapers to see what the headlines are this morning and come back for some analysis. The Nation is where we are going to first, and we see right here our African pride, Okonjo-Iweala, give Tinubu credit for stabilizing the economy. Well, if it is coming from the guru of economy herself, that might mean a whole lot. The Leadership is showing us another issue right here. Just a minute with me. And we see right here. Okay. Now,
all right, so there you have it.
A little bit on Toma, what we saw about Okonjo-Iweala. He visited the president.
Yeah.
And I mean, she gave that wonderful endorsement.
Yes, and why did she visit the president? There's this initiative that they've come up with, she and the First Lady, for women, to empower women. And in the process, she made that statement. And for coming from Okonjo-Iweala, it is a statement nobody should take lightly. Exactly. She is a guru in revamping economies and, and doing all that. She's with the World Trade.
She's actually a very strong personality. She's someone that, you know, a lot of people look up to. So when she makes that kind of statement, you know, a lot of Nigerians are like, oh, wow. You know, and some of the reasons why she made that statement is she specifically applauded these reforms. The removal of fuel subsidy, that was one of the reforms that, you know, she said has really helped Nigerian economy, and also the unification of foreign exchange windows, and it promoted more transparent and unified forex market. So those are some of the things that she highlighted by saying that, you know, when it comes to the economy, the president has really tried, but there's still room for better growth. And talking about the reform that she's working with the First Lady, I love it. I've always been a fan of woman empowerment, because I feel like
you're a woman.
Well, you know, what a woman can do, what a man can do, a woman will certainly do better. So I love the fact that, you know, they are putting more attention on our women.
What a man can do best, a woman can do better.
And it's beautiful to hear her say that as well, you know.
I always wonder about that, Ibrahim. Can a woman really do it better? Well, let's look at the Leadership newspaper this morning. Again, it's the same matter right here. But Ibrahim, let me take you on this one. By-elections, Nigerians vote in 7,324 polling units tomorrow. Now, look at this. INEC is deploying about 30,451 officials, stakeholders, delivery of sensitive materials. We talked about this yesterday to say that what INEC will do in this by-election will be a pointer to assure Nigerians that they are ready for 2027.
Yeah, I can always say for a fact that anytime we have by-elections, they, you know, summon all of the powers, all of the you know, things that they need to prosecute the election, and they do it well because it is not that spread across the nation. You can imagine when you're dealing with something as gargantuan as Nigerian, when you're going from one polling unit to another, and then people having their own sinister motives towards the elections. So for this, I want to believe that all of the recommendations, all of the shortcomings in the previous elections, INEC would, you know, substantially address most of these, and this would just be a litmus test for 2027. But, you know, one thing that is very sure, which we all mentioned yesterday, is the fact that after the election, there will be much more litigations. But it's not okay when we judicialize our electoral process. Right. Doesn't make sense.
I mean, because I'm always averse to that, really.
But just to add to that, you know, I really pray that I hope that people will go out and vote peacefully. We do not want to see any violence.
That's right.
Go and exercise your rights peacefully. And also, you know, I just pray that INEC is able to, you know, to make this election that we see transparency in it, so that we don't hear people going to court back and forth. And 2027 is almost here, so I just hope that this is like a stepping stone to see what will happen in 2027.
Etoma, the Daily Times is raising another issue, even though we still see the picture of our African pride, Okonjo-Iweala, right there with the president at the villa. Tinubu has traveled 200 out of 806 days in office. Peter Obi is raising alarm over that. But if you look at the reasons for why the president has traveled out of the country, more than often, it's about economy.
Well, you took it out of my mouth. I was going to say, yeah, he's done 200 days. Did he go for parties, or he went for picnics or something, or he traveled for the betterment of the Nigerian economy? Did he travel to stretch diplomatic tentacles with other countries? Did he travel to get foreign investments into Nigeria? What did he do?
Yeah. Matter of fact, one thing about this, the thing that the president has done, you know, Peter Obi, an opposition person, will always seek to oppose anything the president has done. Because one thing is there, the president, talking about economy, over $50 billion in FDI that he has done in 2024 alone, and then capital insurge, there is this UAE visa restoration and restart flight. There is also, in terms of security, expanded maritime territory, strategic India partnership, etc. So you can reel out all of this, you know, many of these. So saying that he had gone out to 100 times. I mean, he spent 200 days
but the thing is,
out of
I'm not even surprised, because the work of opposition is always to say something negative. If you ask me, that is their work. So they can never see anything positive in the person ruling. But also, one of the trips that the president did that was really remarkable for me was the Brazil trip. We saw how, you know, bilateral relationship between Nigeria and Brazil. So I think that he's not just traveling for fun. He's traveling for, you know, the betterment of Nigeria.
We've seen it yielding.
And speaking of the betterment of Nigeria, let me take you to this Nigeria. There's a conversation there. Nigeria accounts for 70% of 11 million illegal arms in West Africa. That is a lot. Now, from the number, if Nigeria has 70% of that, it means we're the giant of...
But now, so the question is, who possesses these arms? Is it our police or terrorists or just normal citizens? Who are the people that have the arms? That should be the question.
Good question. It's in the arms of non-stakeholders.
Exactly. You know, I said when things like this happen, we always have a flowery phrase to cover non-state actors. What do you mean by non-state actors? You know, if you're talking about arms, I will expect it to be in the hands of the police,
uniform agencies,
uniform agencies, and all that. So any other person that is not in that bracket is a non-state actor.
And it's dangerous.
And what does that portend for the
country? Proliferation of light weapons across the nation is a problem, and that's why we're having large insecurity, people kidnapping, banditry, etc. Because even some are using toy guns. I don't want to believe that toy gun is even part of this. So we need to do so much to probably reintroduce the amnesty program for people to, you know, lay down their light weapons in exchange for something, you know, meaningful to them.
Absolutely. And Ibrahim, the news direct this morning, you know, is talking about, again, it seems like all the papers today are awash with the visit of Okonjo-Iweala to Mr. President. She said here, the president is to be given credit for economic reforms. And she also acknowledged the fact that, you know, some of these reforms are a bit hard and, you know, difficult, and we're still getting there. But how do we as Nigerians have enough patience to see or to reap the dividends of some of these economic reforms championed by President Bola Tinubu?
Yes, so there is a precedent to this. If you want to change something that is, you know, on the trajectory of failure, you have to take a very bold step, which the president had done from day one, where the inauguration was done, you know, removal of fuel subsidy. And if you look at all the things the president has done, he's done so much that we were able to count, but, you know, things that others will only pay lip profession to without doing. If you look at Lee Kuan Yew, what he did in Singapore, it took a very, very bold step, you know, after 1945, when Japan, you know, got into the country, and, you know, the Asian continent, China and all of that, the role it played, which it felt like, why would you do this to your fellow humans? And then he had to, like, okay, this is a very small country, but we need to make sure we take bold steps. And that's why we talk about moving from third world to the first world. So what the president is doing, it is so good that we're hearing not just Okonjo-Iweala saying that, we might say because she's a Nigerian, but we've seen IMF, WHO mention them. They've been saying that Nigeria's economy is now stabilized. What else do we need? It brings in investment,
and just to add to that, you know, removing the fuel subsidy, it was something that we had spoken about a lot of times, and he came and he did it. But the thing is that people do not understand the patience. I tell people, before it gets better, it gets harder. So it's this hard part that we are now, that we're shaking, oh, this, that. But it can never be better when you've not gone through hardship. Even in life, even in your common daily life, it's even in the Bible, you know. So I feel like the patience we need to have is, just to be patient and see what happens next.
But Achuma, let me ask you something on this, and before I take you to the Blueprint newspaper. Whilst we hear all of this grand statistics and data based on economic improvement, ordinary Nigerians on the street just say, I just want to be able to buy food.
Yes. Ordinary Nigerians will say that because the reality in front of them doesn't translate with what is being bandied at the upper echelon. What Mr. President is doing is solving problems from the roots. And if if you solve problems from the roots, it takes time for the thing to germinate. And that's the way he has decided to tackle Nigeria's problems. And thank God it is beginning to yield dividends, because reputable people and organizations have recognized his efforts. Nigerians just have to, the way we have been living one day to the other, we just have to continue until we start seeing that dividend. We start seeing plenty of money in our pockets, and we go to the market and buy foodstuff at a good price.
Yeah, but let me very quickly, everything cannot end to food on our table. And as you said, there's so many social intervention programs that he's doing. Even students that are going to school, the loans and all of that. And we see how students are reacting to these and some of the videos that are traveling around.
You want to say something about this?
I just want to say something quickly. In Nigeria, once you're not able to have food on your table, we feel like everything is bad, but we forget about the good roads. We forget about so many things, and I feel like that is where, and just like Ibrahim said, it shouldn't just be about having food on the table. There are other reforms that are being done. Exactly.
And actually, I think that's a reaction of
common man.
People, I would say, the plebeians of a country. In Venezuela right now, the problem that the people are talking about is food. They just want to eat.
Indeed. But Toma, the Blueprint is talking security this morning. DHQ reinforces hunt for 24 hours after Mahmuda leader's arrest. These are the kingpins of terrorist groups in the country. I don't know how. Aren't they hiding in this same Nigeria?
Because they don't know where they're hiding.
Yeah, that's why I laughed. However, it is heartwarming to know that the DSS is doing this thing the right way. For you to quell insurgency, you have to depend a lot on intelligence. And that's what the DSS is doing.
Actually, the Nigerian Army, the Defense Headquarters.
The Defense Headquarters. Now, when you have this information, correct, good intelligence, you go and pick the person based on the information you've had. Ordinarily, you would have gone attacking everybody and hope that in the process of attacking everybody, you will get the right person. So they are doing the right thing. They are pursuing this situation the right way. And I want a situation where, because of this action, we are going to have a reduced or an end.
Nelson, I cannot just wait to read the headline. When you read the headline one day, I say that these people have actually finally been arrested. And which is where
I'm taking you to Riyadh, to the Platform Times. Again, the issue of illegal arms.
If I could, I will.
The headline here says 6 million weapons in the hands of you remember the non-state actors thing we talked about a few seconds ago? Why would non-state actors have that kind of audacity and access?
And, Nelson, and that's my worry and that's my fear. Why would non-state actors have more guns than our, the men that are supposed to have it? The men in office are supposed to have it, and that is scary. I feel like this is something that they really, really need to look into, because they always say something, guns don't kill people, people kill people. So when the guns go into the wrong hands, that is when you see, the disaster that can happen.
That's right. And Ibrahim, the Guardian newspaper this morning is talking politics. Election marches, parties jostle for 16 seats as crucial by-election set for 2027. And we see the faces of some ADC men there. We see the INEC chair himself there. We see PDP. It looks like a time for competition for all parties to tell us exactly what they can do.
Pre, during, and post-election has always been competition. Even when one person has won, the other person, people that felt that they've not won, they felt probably they've been cheated, and one way or the other, they still believe, highly optimistic, that they have to get their mandate back, quote unquote. So one thing I'll only say is that INEC should do everything, their utmost best, their own level best, to ensure that the election is free and fair, and people see that, yes, it is free and fair. No one is disenfranchised. Everyone who has that, inalienable rights should not be taken away from him. the position of the polling unit, the time the voting materials should arrive, should be well respected,
That's
then accessibility, etc. And politicians should conduct themselves. Well, we know that they will not, but voters should not sell their birthright, which is ensuring that you select the rightful person, and the rightful person is relative, but just do your best.
And I'll just speak up from selling, you know, your rights.
Birthright.
When you sell that, you saw what happened in the Bible when somebody sold his birthright. Like, I feel like you should vote for who you want to vote for. Nobody should influence you.
That's right.
What you have in mind, this is the person I want to vote for, should be the person you vote for. Not that you go there and they promise you gari, change it, things that you will eat and it will leave your body at some point. You know, so why don't you just do the right thing for your future?
Ibrahim Maria, I couldn't agree less with what you guys have said. However, the reality on ground, we talked about food earlier, isn't it?
Yeah,
the reality on ground is somewhat different.
I tell you something, no matter what, you cannot let you know, poverty turn you into a criminal or somebody you are not.
I couldn't agree less. And so
all these things you're saying, all these things you're saying are right. However, let us look at INEC right now. They have already transmitted sensitive materials to where the elections will hold. They have deployed over 30,000 staff.
According to what we saw this morning.
You see that by-elections, when it's by-elections, INEC is up and doing, you know. And they've not mentioned anything about security. But let me tell you something. I know that massive security has been deployed to all those places. So as far as the election is concerned, INEC is ready.
The Sporting Live is our final paper this morning, ladies and gentlemen. Spurs Villa chase Lukman. Now, Ibrahim told me this is his first paper. He looks at everything.
Ibrahim is not a sportsman.
You will come for me.
We don't have a Simet today.
No, we don't. Rather, we have a Yanacho near Samsung Sport Move.
Oh. Yeah, Lukman.
No, the Spurs is chasing Lukman and then Yanacho as well. You know, Ibrahim, I want to be chased also, you know.
Go and play football.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, talking about Tottenham Hotspur and Aston Villa, they are, you know, boldly interested in signing, you know, Lukman, despite the fact that he has agreement with Inter Milan. Yeah. So, you know, it's a transfer window. So we expect that Lukman is doing so well, you know, having signed that of 70 million euros, you know, with Atlanta, and they're saying, okay, we have to ensure that you pay this amount of money for us to get Lukman on our side. Yeah. But one thing that is striking for me here is that Osimhen, Lukman, mention all of those guys. These are our guys.
Our guys,
and then,
making us proud, and they have value.
So well, you know,
we love them a lot, and we pray, you know, they keep, you know, soaring and taking the name of this country to greater heights. That's all we can have for you on the Newspaper Review segment this morning.